Greetings gastronauts, this is KeefCooks, I'm Keef, and today I'm going to show you how to make some proper British comfort food, and healthy too-ish. I'm going to show you how I make fish pie, or fisherman's pie. So you'll need fish, obviously. This is about 500 grams of assorted fish that was mostly sold as fish pie mix. So it's smoked unspecified white fish, salmon, other unspecified white fish, some leftover unnamed white fish that I had the other day, and a few prawns because I like them. Half litre of milk, nice bunch of parsley and about 10 capers, a medium onion, and optionally fish stock. This is one of those jellied stock things which are quite good, and a pinch of saffron which will give it a lovely yellow colour and saffron flavour. And if you don't want to spend the ridiculous amounts of money they demand for it in the supermarkets, you can leave it out. And then for the topping, some spuds. You'll also need flour and butter for thickening various components. Oh, and some cream. Not all of that, just maybe a couple of tablespoons in the sauce and in the spuds, just to make them even richer than they already are. Before we start actually cooking, I'm going to infuse the milk with the onion and the saffron, and that's mainly because we don't want to have big chunks of onion in with the fish sauce, but we do want the onion flavour. There's no great history to this, it's just traditional, and possibly came from Scotland like lots of other good things. Possibly not, nobody really knows. Anyway, it's simple, delicious. Any bits of leftover fish, or you know, brand new fish if you like, in a sort of creamy sauce, sometimes with boiled eggs, sometimes with cheese in the sauce, and then topped with mashed potato. So it's pretty easy to do and delicious. So I've got the milk warming on quite low heat, and I'm just going to pop the onions in there, and a teeny pinch of saffron. And I've almost run out, which is a major tragedy because I get this from Dubai. Generally, if anybody we know from out there who lives out there is coming to the UK, we'll ask them to bring some saffron. Time to get in touch with those mates, I think. So you just want that to warm up to a gentle simmer, and then turn it off and set it aside. Just let the flavours infuse for about 15 minutes, and then we can start cooking the fish pie properly. Actually, while we're infusing the milk, I can get on with doing the spuds. So they need to be peeled and cut into small chunks, and then boiled for about 15 minutes in salted water. These potatoes are Desiree, which the packet says is pretty good for mash. I believe them. But other varieties like russets are also recommended for mash. So little chunks about that size, and chuck them in the pan. Now you want to chop your parsley quite finely. If you're not using fresh parsley, you can use a couple of teaspoons of dried stuff. Okay, the milk's infused a lot. Now I'm just going to drain off the onions, and I'll probably pick out that saffron with some tweezers to put in the finished sauce because it just looks nice. Need to bring this to a simmer, and we'll pop the fish in carefully without splashing. If you have fillets of fish with the skin on, just lay them in side by side. Then you can flake the flesh off when it's cooked. Pop the capers in, and the chopped parsley, and the fish stock if you're using that. Just stir that all together and let it simmer until the flesh of the fish has gone opaque, and you know, you can flake it easily with a fork. Whoa, doesn't that look great? Now, better pop the prawns in. These are already cooked, so it wouldn't matter if I put them in later. Righty ho, the spuds are cooked, so I've drained them. I'm going to add a generous knob of butter and big old pinch of salt, a sprinkling of white pepper, and a couple of tablespoons of double cream, heavy cream. And now just mash them. So I like to just finish off mashing spuds with a fork. So a little taste. Fantastic. Right, set that aside. I had some requests to do this quite a while ago, actually, from Sarah Clark and Stephen Thompson. And also more recently from Jean Tahansky, I think. Let's do some shout outs. I've got 2 new Patreon fans. Yay! Alina Studanova and Kate Hall. And also just a regular shout out for Joel Hardy, who's already had one, but he wants another one. So here you go, Joel. This is for you. Now we want to make a creamy sauce for our for our fish stuff. So we need to strain off the liquid. Oh, this pan is so heavy. Put all your fish in a bowl and set that aside. So to make any white sauce, you start with a roux. So I've got a knob of butter, and we just want that to melt on sort of medium heat, and then sift in about the same amount of flour. Stir that in well, get it nice and smooth, and then pop the cooking liquor in and let that come to a simmer and cook it for about 5 minutes. Okay, that's thickened up nicely, so I'm going to add a little bit of cream just to make it a little bit more decadent, and then put the fish back in and mix that to get all the fish coated in the sauce. Now you want to get your oven preheating to 180 degrees Celsius if it's a fan oven, convection oven, or 200 degrees Celsius if it isn't, and that's gas mark 6. Time to assemble the pie, so you want an oven-proof dish that's big enough to hold all these goodies. This might not quite be big enough, but we'll see. Do you know what? I didn't taste that. You always have to taste stuff. Yeah, that'll do. I think I'll just scrap the rest of it and eat this. And get your spuds and layer them on top of the seafood saucy stuff. It's always a bit tricky this, because your spuds might sink, but we'll manage. The trick is not to put too much in at once. There we are, it's all in, and there is slightly too much stuff in this dish. It's gonna boil over and dribble down the edges, but guess what? I don't care. So I've just roughened up the top, because all these ridges will catch the heat and turn lovely golden brown. So we slam that in the oven for about 30 minutes until it turns that lovely golden brown. Okay, I reckon it's ready. Oh yeah. I told you it'd dribble everywhere, and it did, but ooh, doesn't that look good? Okay, taste test time, and here is Mrs. KeefCooks! Yay!
Now can I have some?
Yeah. That only took all day.
So what have you put in it?
Fish.
That smoked haddock?
I think that's a bit of salmon. Poo.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I can get the texture of the mashed potato in the sauce as well. I like that. Oh yeah.
I think we like it.
Yeah. So can I go and eat this off camera now?
Yeah. If you want. Oh yeah, I forgot. Oh. Oh, I've had that, haven't I? Oh, posh glasses.
I like these.
We're doing it again. Chinny chin chin.
Oh yeah.
As we always say in England.
Yes.
Don't we?
Oh yeah.
Down your chin.
Oh yeah. Right, talk amongst yourselves. You know it's rude to watch people eat.
Sorry, babe.
What you're doing? Oh yeah. So yeah, that's a Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc. And it's very nice with this. So, right, now can I take this away?
Okay. Enjoy. Alright, that's your lot. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, you know what to do. If you don't do anything. So, like, shares, subscriptions, money, stuff like that. Alright, ta-ra!